we founded the Cork Mother Jones Committee back in 2011, and we've held, I think it's 8 festivals since then in Cork City to commemorate and celebrate the life of Mother Jones. Cork City is a small city, really, about 250,000 people on the south coast of Ireland, and it was there in late July 1837 that Mary Harris was born. She was baptized in the local church at the time, known as the North Chapel, which is still there. It's now the North Cathedral. So I'm speaking at a time when the hand of history is indeed strange, because Cork City is a city really in lockdown and has been since St. Patrick's Day, in view of the current crisis in relation to the fever and the epidemic we're experiencing. Mary Harris was just 8 years of age when the Great Famine began in Cork City, and she was 12 years old when a major cholera epidemic swept the city. In those years, thousands and thousands of ordinary people perished in awful circumstances from hunger and fever. And the city itself here was described as a city of fever sheds, workhouses and death carts. In 1846, again, the levels of fever and epidemics was quite high across the city, and again thousands died. And just a couple of small statistics. In 1847, in the space of 18 weeks here in Cork, the records show that what are described as paupers, 2,216 of them were buried in mass graves here in the city. A doctor who spent all his life attempting to cope with what was happening in the 1840s and 1850s, Dr. John Popham, he claimed at the time that the fever peaked in the city in July 1847. But the medical facilities in the North Infirmary, which ironically is the Maldron Hotel, where the festival is held, were in fact totally overwhelmed in 1847 by the levels of people coming in and suffering from the fever. And all the various fever hospitals were also overwhelmed all across the north side of Cork City, where Mother Jones was living at the time. So she must have experienced a dreadful situation, far worse than what we're experiencing right now. In one 12-month period, ending in May 1847, Canon John O'Rourke estimated that some 10,000 people were interred in Father Match's cemetery out in Ballyphehane. Now, the scale of that is absolutely frightening, given that the population of the city at the time was approximately 70 or 80,000 people. So Cork City suffered dreadfully, as indeed did loads of other places, including Skibbereen down in West Cork. And anybody that's aware of it, you know, would know of what happened down there. But as Dan said there earlier, I mean, this was just one of the epidemics that Mother Jones experienced, or Mary Harris experienced during the course of her long life. And the situation in Memphis was just as bad, where she describes the death carts, which obviously harked back to the situation that she heard every night in Cork City when she was a young girl here. And then she experienced the 1918 epidemic in America and across the world, which cost the lives, I think, of something in the region of 50 million people, and took the lives of over 600,000 people in America alone. So it's in that context that we should remember Mother Jones and Mary Harris and then Mother Jones. And it's in that context that her life was lived. She survived everything. And that's why she remains an inspiration to all of us, because she went on to achieve great things in the labour movement and in helping people to, you know, in the areas of social justice and all that went with the working lives of people at the time. So that was the background, and yet she continued to do what she did. So she was really an inspiration to everybody. And indeed, the President of Ireland, Michael D. Higgins, this week remembered her when he was praising the frontline workers for their bravery and commitment in attempting to defeat the COVID-19 epidemic here. And he recalled the slogan of Mother Jones, where he basically pointed out that we should remember the dead, but we should fight like hell for the living. And that is what the frontline workers of Ireland and across the world are now doing. And these are the ordinary workers that Mother Jones would once have represented. And it's ironic that we're back to that again. So just to thank Rosemary and everybody for organising this great conference, really. It's an unusual one. And just some further news, we've had to postpone the 9th Spirit of Mother Jones Festival this year from August, because the situation still doesn't allow us to have what we consider a normal festival. However, we are going to celebrate and commemorate the 90th anniversary of her death on the 30th of November 1930. So it will be the 90th anniversary. And we are going ahead with a festival, either a live festival around Shandon, or we will do it on Zoom or on the media to ensure that her death, the 90th anniversary of her death, is commemorated. So again, want to thank everybody else, and if anybody wants to join me in a toast of good Irish brandy or whiskey, whichever, you're very welcome. So I salute Mother Jones and I thank everybody. Good night.